G'day, legends. G'day, superstars. It's Peps, Jdog. We're down to the final 8, round 1, week 1 of the 2024 AFL Final Series. I am pumped. I'm excited. And I'm Chris Pepper, your host. He's the co-host with the most, Jamie the Jdog Wallace. My friend, my pal, my superstar. How excited are you with your Portland power? Getting ready for a massive game this week. And more importantly, finally we've got a weekend of AFL footy. This goes to show what happens when you have no footy for 1 week, how over the top you can get.
Peps,
And everybody's joining live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you. And TikTok. Everybody's with us. Excited, Jdog. I'm excited.
Everyone's there. Peps, I don't know, like when your team is just so used to comfortably falling inside the top 4 and playing finals, you just kind of, it's just another week to us, mate. So, yeah. Game on.
No, I totally agree with you. Look, I know my team's not there this year. We've had, my team, Melbourne, a couple of years ago, we got the ultimate success, something that you haven't done this century. But, well, actually, no, you did, 2004. Sorry, I take that.
That's not true.
No. But it's better than Essendon. But it's just exciting because we've had the week off, and I want to ask you about that. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Thoughts, feelings, emotions? But the AFL wanted an equal competition. And for the first time in a long time, I'm looking at this final 8, and there really is not a standout team saying, pick me, kick it to me, Kieran Perkins with his milk style. It's just, we've got 4 cracking games this weekend. 4 belters. And I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. No need for the ladder.
Did you enjoy the week off?
No. The short answer is no. Did you?
Here's the thing, right? Outside of Father's Day, so to all the fathers out there, congratulations for the ones that know you're a father and ones that don't know you're a father. It doesn't really matter. It was your day yesterday.
And Special Persons Day, Peps.
Don't get me started. And but the way I'm looking at it, Jdog, is it is a waste. It is a waste. And I keep hearing this. It's best to have, the best players of all clubs playing in the first. No. You should just roll straight into it. And then the top 4, if you get that week off, that's the week that you deserve to get. And then if you're to have a bye, I would have it the week before the grand final to give because you know what? In all honesty, I don't care what happens in the first 3 weeks of the finals. It comes down to that last game. That's the one that everybody should have the right to be able to play and not get removed because of a little knock to the head.
Can I play a pop quiz with you, Peps? Pop quiz.
Big dog.
What are we? Less than 5 minutes into the podcast. Pop quiz for you, Peps.
Yep.
Why was the bye round introduced before finals? Can you remember the original reason?
Yes. It was because Fremantle back in 2016, I think it might have been. 15. Rested 8 players, approximately 8 to 10 players, because they were playing in Melbourne and they might have even been playing North that weekend. And they decided to rest them. And that ruined the integrity of the game.
Correct. You are correct, Peps. So we had a massive overreaction to bring in 2016, which we're all fans of the game, comfortably worked very well for the Western Bulldogs for the 2016 year.
Yep.
And we've continued with it where there hasn't been anything like it that would have happened, because this year, if we look at it this year, all the teams that needed to make it would have played full squads.
Yep.
All the teams that were in the finals anyway were playing full squads.
Yep.
And it was just because of this 1 year before that looked bad because Freo and Ross rested half the squad. We've had to deal with this.
To overreact, was it?
Well, we've had to just deal with this legacy piece now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah, 9 seasons since.
It's I don't know. It feels like it sucks the air out of the excitement of finals.
But you know what it also does, Jamie? the importance of finishing top 4 is really not there anymore. Because if finishing top 4, it gave you the second chance. But if you won your first final, you got the luxury of a week off that nobody else gets. And the premiership winners coming out of the top 4 before that was astronomical. Now, the chances of somebody winning outside of the top 4, even actually the top 2, is now, that saying though, the Bulldogs are the only team to win it outside of the top 4, at least in this century. We know that when they kept one from 7th. But why we've got it, I don't know. Nobody wants it, yet it's just the AFL stretching it out. And then they want to put in this thing called Wild Card Weekend.
It would have been this weekend.
It would have been that weekend. We don't need it. We're going to have more teams making finals than not making finals. I think we spoke about this last week. I don't want to go over that spilt milk once again. But it's just the AFL jumping to conclusions because they've done it so many times, and then they backtrack. They've backtracked on the NGA bidding, which they've done this year, and so there's been clubs that have been burnt because of the AFL when it comes to that. So, yeah, it's got to be removed. And you just wonder whether, and this is where, I'm going quite lateral with this, but having Andrew Dillon, who is one of the boys, one of Gill's boys, would he come in and go, nah, I don't think we should have that anymore and get rid of it? I don't think he will. But if you had somebody who was totally external to the AFL and looked at it and went, that is a complete, why have you got a week off? Tell me why you've got a week off. No, you're slowing everything down. Cut it, move it to the first week before the grand final. Could you imagine you could have the Brownlow that week, you could have everything that particular week. It would be mint, and you would have both teams playing the biggest game of the season, fit and firing. And if you've had a concussion, you know you're not going to be running the risk of not playing either.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard a caller today, Peps, talk about how, in the modern game of football, and this year we've seen it, momentum is God. And I feel like we're just robbing teams of having such momentum, like your Hawthorns, your Western Bulldogs. I guess Port, to an extent, have got momentum.
Yeah, I think Sydney have got a bit of momentum too over the last few weeks. And so they've had a real staggered 5 weeks. They've got a little bit of momentum. That's stopped now. But it does give these the other flip side to it though, Jamie. Could you imagine Carlton having to play last week?
They would have been. What's the context?
They had like 8 to 10 players out.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, they had 11 players out.
Yeah, they get them back in. Like, too bad, too sad. They got injured at the wrong end of the season. So it's not great. I don't like it. We could run a poll, kind of useless because everyone will probably say the same thing. But I want to pick out a couple of things. Mickey Burnside, love Mickey. Mickey Burnside is the unofficial Hall of Fame legend of the East Keilor Football Club. He's the official photographer for the club. Been doing it for years, and he's one of the best out there. The last game is the one all attending supporters should be able to attend. The grand final should not be a past player or a celebrity catch-up. Mickey, I totally agree with you. Unfortunately, that's the prelim weekends. So the preliminary final weekends are the people's weekends. That is, if you ever want to go to the best games, they're the ones to go to because it is the last games that you'll go to where you've got two groups of warring supporters against each other. Grand final, too many corporates take over. And I do agree with you. And the thing is that I don't think it was probably maybe you'd almost go this century where it really peaked. Before then, it wasn't a massive corporate day. So, yeah.
Peps, we are solution focused. We're gonna shift our mindset to be positive focused. Let's positive spin this. So you don't want teams next year playing for wild card round. I understand the reason for it. I'm not going to back over that one with you.
Yep.
I heard some suggestions today that this should have been the weekend we should have Brownlow, and I'm finding it really hard to disagree with how good that would have been because grand final is big enough as it is as its own product to sit in. It doesn't need a Brownlow and a grand final in the same week.
No, but that's why I think that if they put the week before the grand final, they would then have that Brownlow the week before the grand final. That makes sense.
I don't know. I think now would be perfect for Brownlow. The season's done.
Yeah, true. Yep, I wholly agree with that as well. I think there's factors that can be shifted, which I agree with, but I also agree that this bye it has put a bit of a stagnant on it, but it did give the local football a chance to breathe as well too. Gave the women's first round a week to breathe. So there were factors that were good, but I just felt a little bit naked. It also gave the NRL a free weekend of football heading into their final series as well too. So it's a bit all over the joint.
I think we give them 2 hits, don't we? We give them the start of the season and we give them the penultimate week of our season.
Why not? We just give them everything. Like, because we just don't attack. Hey, a couple of things. Craigie Jones is there. Hi, sexy ladies, putting it out there, which is lovely. Guess Peps is happy that Sulky Pants Petrarca is staying. Well, of course, I am happy. Am I happy about the situation? I know Jamie was going to bring this up. I'm not going to go into it. No, it made him look like a fool. It made the club look like a fool. I think that there is going to be change. Stay tuned. Probably the next couple of weeks, you'll find there might be some Marie Antoinettes occurring and some heads will be rolling.
I will come back with Craig and say it felt about as authentic as Danny Houston saying he's not going anywhere as our team's on the precipice of finals.
Yeah. Bo Hawkins, love this. How about no break before finals or during? No, I think the landscape has shifted with the break. If they were to have one before the grand final, I think that everybody should have the opportunity to play in a grand final, and something like a concussion, which is taken out of the player's hands. It's not like a hamstring or a broken ankle or whatever. It's something that it's mandatory by the AFL that you cannot play for that amount of time. I would have it before then to give everybody the option. I can understand what you're saying, not having one at all, but I think you need to have a bit of latitude for it. It'd be a nice build up. I don't have an issue with it, but it's a really good recommendation as well too. Hey, Jdog, we've spoken about the finals. I think we need to have a look at what games are happening this weekend, and I am pumped. Have a look at this. The first week of the AFL finals is kicking off with your mob for Thursday. Port Adelaide versus the Cats. Are you going over for it?
I'm not.
Soft. Right. Friday night. The second elimination final, which is the Western Bulldogs versus the Hawks. Are you going to that one, Jamie?
I am going to that one.
I will be there too.
No, I'm not going to that one. But it's a shame that we're going to lose a team out of one of those teams.
Well, I wanted to have a chat to you about that one because that is going to be I reckon that's going to be the game of the weekend. But then you've got the GWS versus Sydney. Sydney's home game at the SCG. And that's going to be a 3:20 twilight game heading straight into the Jabba the Hutt. Brisbane Lions, Carlton, 7:30 p.m. What a round one of football action. It is corker. I love it. Bo Hawkins, I love the work. I'm on Bevo's Bottom Boys. Well, interesting. I don't know. We're going to have a bit of a chat about it, who our feelings with. Lace Out will be out with tipped later on in the week, but we're going to have a chat about these. Who do we think and how, who's going to win and why. But we'll get into that very, very shortly. But for the first time in a long time, we look at these 8 teams and there is a claim that every single one of those teams could win it. I don't think there are any teams making up the numbers as we've had over the last number of years.
Agree.
You agree? All right. Jeez. You're very quiet tonight, Jdog. What are you?
No. I'm just nervous.
You know, you are a bit nervy. You're not as jizzled as you.
Well, no. Do you know why? Because I'm just flat. I'm flat from not having footy on the weekend to talk about. Obviously, Gaslight Gorn's going around doing his media spiels about how the club's a happy place and all his rubbish, and your club president got on radio last week and gave one of the worst interviews I've ever had in my whole life, talking about I can't talk about that. I can't don't call the radio if you can't talk about anything. So I'm kind of flat, and we've had no footy chat.
You know, the Gainesville disaster was probably the worst train wreck that's been in Australian history. That came close to it. That was
Roffy's interview, or Roffy, or whatever it is.
Roffy's interview. It was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
So I'm kind of flat, Peps. I'm flat because there's no footy to talk about.
How about we just get ourselves a little bit pumped up? Let's get ourselves a little bit pumped up because we've got some cracking games coming in. Craigie Jones, Sydney should have gotten a marquee time slot. Do agree with that. I think that they should.
Agree.
They should have got the. When you finish on top.
What is marquee? What is marquee time slot?
No, that is marquee time slot. They should have got. Well, they should have got the Friday night game.
You reckon Friday's more than Thursday?
Yeah.
I reckon Thursday's the marquee now.
No. Thursday's a really nice appetizer going into Friday.
No.
Friday night, mate. Channel 7 do not put the A team on Thursday nights. They always put them on the Friday. And I think that's the best game for them. Plus also, Jdog, let's put this in perspective. You've got a team who's going to be playing on a Thursday night. Whoever loses that game gets 2 full days of recovery before the GWS Sydney game. Yet
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Oh, well, you can
Thursday night football makes
what do you say, legends?
Humid.
What do we say here? Humans, fantasy people, lovers on the chats here. Which is the marquee game? Is it Friday nights or is it Thursday nights? What is the marquee game? Jdog says Thursday. I'm still saying Friday. Love to hear what you're saying from this. The Dogs didn't even want the Friday night because of their women's game. Now that's a doubleheader. Like it's the AFL just do not listen to anyone outside their own. It's all about the broadcasters. It's all about this, and it's not about us, and it's pathetic. Hey, can I just say something? I want a big special shout out to this superstar, Tori, because she's got some great news, which is hopefully, fingers crossed, everything is going to be awesome for her. But I hate Thursdays, especially for interstate sides, but extra days between has to be a bonus. Yep, I agree. Rambo Kafari, he loves both. Craigie Jones, Friday night footy. He loves his Friday night footy. I love Friday night footy. There's nothing better than just sitting back with a couple of Proseccos, watching your team play with a nice Gouda on a cheese board. Ooh.
Maybe I'll start my weekends early then.
Yep. Okay. Maybe I'm lost in time. Best footy, Saturday Arvo. Mickey Burnside, you're old school. Mickey Burnside wears thongs to games every weekend, regardless if it's 20 degrees or 2 degrees. He's there with his camera, his long lens, and his thongs.
It's impressive.
Awesome. It is impressive. Hey, big announcement coming out of the AFL as well too today that there's going to be a number of, as we know, medals handed out on the day, and they've announced who is going to be handing it out. Now, for the first time ever, the Ron Barassi medal will be handed out. That'll be given to the Premiership captain. That'll be handed out by Fred Wooler, who is Geelong's 1963 Premiership captain. So he'll be giving it to the captain of the Premiership team. The Jock McHale medal will be handed over by David Parkin. Fantastic, magnificent coach, Hawthorn and also the Blues. You've then got the Norm Smith medal, and you couldn't ask for anyone better to give this one out. The 2007. Did you play the 2007 grand final, Jdog?
Don't recall it.
I do, because this guy tore you apart. Stevie Johnson will be handing out the Norm Smith medal to the winner on the day as well too. So it is going to be an absolute corker, and I absolutely love it. People are coming in for you, Jdog. We're going to do it for Jockey. We're going to be coming in for Jamie. Let's go, Port. Everybody wants to see you go. Mossy is coming out with Petrarca should hand out a medal. What medal should Petrarca have given out?
I think is that because it's in response to the fact that now everyone gets a medal now on grand final day?
No, it's not.
Ron Barassi's a new medal.
Yeah, that's one medal. Yeah. What else?
It's new. It's new this year.
The Premiership captain, and they're honouring the man. So I don't have an issue with that, Jamie.
What are you honouring? What have you done courageously that's made you earn that? It's going to go to you because you're the winner. You're the captain who won the game. Like what does it need to be?
Yeah, no, it's just an acknowledgement of the captain.
And then the winning coach. Of course you're the winning coach.
McHale medal. But that thing is.
No, it's absolute junk.
No.
Coach gets a medal with the players. The players get a medal with their captain. This whole adding names into medals for no reason. It's just
the generation that's brought in participation medals, mate. So you're the ones that fault.
It does feel a bit participation to me, Peps.
Get over it.
Every medal is going to be like sponsored at footy days. This medal is sponsored by Bruce Dool. This medal is sponsored by Diesel Williams. This medal is sponsored by Luke Parker. This is
Bataki Small Goods. Yeah. It's like when you go around the golf courses, Tinny's Motorworks, Tadros Medical Center, all the classics. Yeah. I think that's fine. I don't have an issue with it. They could have named it the Rumbarassi Cup, but I just still think the Barassi Cup is like. Here's the one that I think is a complete farce. If you want a participation medal, right? What about the medal for the Gary Ayres medal?
What's that?
The Gary Ayres medal is the best performed player in the finals. Right? Now, here's the thing where it's completely stupid because if you get eliminated in the first week, you could have had the best game. You could have dominated, kicked 15 in the first final and dominated, got 5 votes, and then you can't win it. It's just stupid. It is just it doesn't make any sense. And the only people who can win it are people who get to virtually grand final day. Like that one makes no sense. The Gary Ayres medal for the best player in the finals.
Yeah.
That's a participation medal if there ever was one.
Let's just wind up all these medals in an all-Australian team that does nothing anyway. Let's just wind them all up.
Let's have a squad. Let's pick a squad of 23 and then have another squad of 23 that don't do anything and play against each other and see who wins. My daughter asked on the weekend, what is the All-Australian? What's the point of this All-Australian team? Said,
thank you.
Just recognises the best players, honey. Do they play against anyone? No. So then why don't they just make a list of
thank you, man.
2 players?
Thank you, Turbo. Thank you, Turbo.
Turbo Princess strikes her claim. Hey, Jdog, I want to have a chat about a couple of these games heading into the weekend. I'd love to hear your opinion on them. The first game is the Thursday night game, Port versus Geelong. Now, I want to hear your thoughts and feelings heading into this.
Sure.
Tell me what you think. Who your dangers are from a Geelong perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you can win this game? And a result.
Okay.
And also, for the people listening to this right away on the chat, throw who you think's going to win, by how much, who's going to be the BOG as well. Love to hear it for you. And Dukey Lee, I'm going to read yours out in just a moment.
All right. So last time we played, that was the game where Port Adelaide put like 50 points in the first quarter and a half on them. We kicked something outrageous, like absolutely outrageous on them. And the game, people, I text streaming in going, what the hell's happening in Cardinia? What the hell's happening in Cardinia? So we absolutely blew them away on their own home park. Fortunately, Port Adelaide went to sleep for about 2 quarters after that, and they got all those 50 points back within, I think, a goal at one stage in the third quarter. They were without some significant players. Number one being Dangerfield. That was the game that Dangerfield didn't play, and they, Geelong need Dangerfield. His camera was having a rough time. Now it's a different game because we've lost our 2 best ball disposal, 2 best kicks of the game, being Dan Houston and Kane Farrell. By far, our most damaging kicks. Not only are they defensively okay, Kane Farrell is not as good defensively as Houston, but what they lack in defensive merits, they can more than well make up with it with their attack. They kick long, they hit targets, and they also shark around the 50-meter line for a quick handoff goal, which don't seem to miss very often from those 2 boys. They seem to be pretty accurate from the long bombs outside. Yeah. We're really going to struggle defensively against Geelong because they have got the Dempseys, the Tyson Stengels, the Camerons. I'm probably missing another one in there. And that's going to hurt because Alid can't cover Cameron. He's not as fast as Cameron. He can't run with him. We're going to have to do something in the back line because that is a pretty dangerous forward line if they all get going. Conversely, our midfield is where the game will be won and lost, like it always is. There were rumors about putting Rosie back to a half-back position and potentially using him to slingshot and set up a lot of stuff. I don't think that'll work. He's clearly a midfielder, a centre midfielder. Horn, Francis, and Butter is really the key to it. We've seen it now multiple times over the last 8 weeks. If one of those 2 catch fire for 15, 20 minutes, the game is done. They are just so damaging to get the ball into the outside. Horn Francis particularly is super clean. Butters are super clean. And once they get the ball, it generally gets down to the forward line within a possession or 2. the problem with the problem that I have against, and I have PTSD from Geelong, is the fact that I've seen a team where you think they shouldn't win, they shouldn't be able to do what they do, and Cameron gets hot, or someone gets hot, or they just defensively shut us down. They shut the corridor down. They shut the center line down, and we can't move the ball. And I've seen that so many times from them. They are defensively strong, but they're also offensively very good if the ball hits the ground because they've got targets down there.
Yep.
It's two. I think it's going to be within 2 goals this game, either way.
Yeah. So I love everything that you've said. And then I look at Geelong, and the All-Australian team went out last week, and it was brought up on the radio, and I never thought about this. All the talk about Jeremy Cameron and what he did making the All-Australian team. But if you actually looked at his statistics, it was actually a bit of a furphy, where I think he kicked, for the year, he kicked 58 goals. Something like 32 of those were kicked in 6 games or whatever, and the rest, the remaining 24 or whatever, 26, were kicked in the remaining 16 games. And so he hasn't had that great of a season in terms of what his output. Like, he's had high numbers, but he had some really on-fire games. But outside of that, it was just maybe 1s or 2s here. And I do agree, even though Houston not being there and the other bloke who did his hammy, Farrell, it's going to be a challenge because they don't just give you the drive off half back. They can lock players down. And the thing with Geelong is Close and Brian Myers just go up and back all day as high half forwards, and the delivery into the 50 is going to be awesome. I think having no Hawkins there, if Hawkins was there, then I reckon that'd be easier for you. But having no Hawkins means that they go in with one tall and then lots of crummers around. So if you've got Alia, okay, that's great. But who else is going to be able to support him around the base there? I do think, though, that this is going to come down to the midfield. And I think your midfield is actually going to wipe theirs out completely.
Yeah.
I just look at how they've been humming. Like Horne-Francis, I don't know how you stop him. And when I say how you stop him, he's just a brute. He's got a sexy mo. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he drives through tackles. He's danger, but 12 years younger. Black
boots, black socks.
Sexy. Just love it, right? When you got him, you've got Butters. Rosie hasn't been his normal best over the last, 6 to 8 weeks, I would say. And if I've been wrong, let me know. I just don't think he's been at the level that we expect from him. If he can come back, because Wines has always made up for what he's lost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, Wines has been great the last 4 weeks.
Great, that's what I mean. So if Wines can continue at that level and then Rosie can lift, that's 4 blokes that are very, very difficult to stop. And I think you're the number 1 team who's scoring from stoppages this year. That's where you win finals, from stoppages as well. So there's so much to like about you. And you do have a bit of randomness about your forward line because your midfielders can kick goals. Georgiades hopefully will be back. That's going to be great for you. You've also got
up there
He has been like what he was at Geelong when he first started, just an absolute brute.
Doesn't need to mark the ball. It just needs to take away a second defender.
Yep. I just think that there's so much to like about you. And you do beat them in quite a number of areas. You beat them in the clearances. That's where games are going. Finals are won in clearances. And you beat them. You average 2.6, I think it's 2.9 more than your opponents. They actually lose clearances every game. And I think that they try to then make it up around the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You do make it up for marks. You get more marks inside 50. You get more hitouts, 1 to advantage by a country mile. So I don't know which ruckman you're going to go with. Whether you go with Sweet, whether you go with Soldo.
It'll be Sweet. It'll be Sweet, yeah.
Yep. So he's been going. You strip them in the tackle side of things as well too. I know they get more goals, etc., but they've had a couple of big blowout wins, which sort of throw that out of whack. I just like that everything is sort of coming to fruition for Port Adelaide. And yes, Geelong have played great footy, but they've sort of got into the final 4. They've had a really soft run going in. And we're a bit concerned about that as well, too. Like a really soft run.
It's the PTSD in me, Peps. It's this thing in the back of my head that goes, what you're saying Makes complete sense, and I've witnessed it for many, 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 many weeks now. But there's just that thing that goes Geelong, and it just gets me.
Yeah. Well, I'm picking your mob. I'm definitely picking your mob. At home, in front of a raucous crowd. I'm just really looking forward to it. And I think ever since your entire cohort booed the crap out of Kenny many, many, many moons ago, you have been on an absolute tear, and I can't see it stopping you. There's just a bit of spunk about it. The Houston thing is a bit of a bad one, but yeah.
All right, so we got here. So Duke, the Duke has joined us.
Yeah,
Geelong, I think Geelong have not had a great run into finals. Well, they did have an easy win, yes, against the Eagles, like you said.
He also said, and I'm just going to quickly before you even go into the next one, he also said that why does it always have to be VFL players all the time? It's the AFL Vic bias. Well, look, I do agree with that, Duke, but you did join the VFL. So, like, if we joined,
That is such a shit answer.
you could come up with your own medal, but you can't. So that's it. And stiff. He's just salty that Harley Reid will be back at the D's in a couple of weeks. All right, Jdog, I'll be at this game on Friday night, and this is going to be a game that I can't wait to see live, but I do not want to finish because whoever loses out of this, I think, is going to be the rough end of the stick. You've got Hawthorn, you've got the Western Bulldogs at the MCG. First of all, the doggies, why this is not being played at Marvel Stadium, I don't know. But once again, the AFL, it's all about the dollar and getting more people to the game rather than giving the Dogs that opportunity to play it on their home deck. Because if that was played at Marvel, they'd win this quite easily, I reckon. Because it's at the G and they love to run, I reckon Hawthorn are going to make an absolute meal of this one and going to make it both for both. They're going to make a meal of it in the fact that it's just going to hope. I just hope it's a fast game. Sorry, that's not going to be a meal. It's going to be a smorgasbord of football love. I can't wait for it. Just pumped for it. Just,
Peps.
oh.
This is what I think when I think of this game.
Yep.
Midfield power.
Yep.
Versus talent and speed.
No, I think it's a little different.
Okay.
I think you've got a back line that's a little bit susceptible. I'm talking about the doggies, even though Rory Lobb's gone down there and done some really, really good stuff. Okay.
Okay.
And Liam Jones is down there. Mm-hmm. You've got two midfields that are going to go at it really nicely. I think the Hawthorn forward line is going to be so quick and nimble. They're going to have to get, I'll tell you what, if you can take the crowd out of Hawthorn quickly, those players, Ginnivan, Watson, love that shit, and they're not going to be able to feed on it. That's the first thing. But I think at the other end of the ground is going to make it really hard for Hawthorn because they're going to have to stop Norton, Ugelhagen, Darcy, Waitman, West, and then you've got this Bont bloke who runs through, Trelaw runs through. You've also got Ed Richards, who's just taken a complete another step this year. I'm just looking at it, and you've got a seasoned team who's played finals. You know, their top echelon of players, their best players have won flags, and I reckon they are going to be in just awesomeness. They've just got so much talent to burn. But I look at the emotional high that Hawthorn have been since they lost their first 5 games, and they've been amazing, and everything has gone right.
All right, you've said a lot of things there. I think I just for the listener's sake, I want you to. So you're saying that Hawthorn, their forwards are exceptionally talented and speedy, and it could cause trouble for Western Bulldogs' slower aging background with the likes of Liam Jones.
Not the aging side of things, but if it does get wet, like Julio said, if it does get wet, those two big guys down the back are going to find it very, very difficult. I don't think it's going to be as bad as that. I think if it's wet, the MCG does drain quite quickly. So I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. But I just think that the amount of speed that they can get on the ball, if they get caught out, they're going to get caught out. Because, Rory Lobb, he's not quick. He'll get caught out. And Liam Jones will get caught out pretty quickly.
I agree. I do agree that Hawthorn's ability this year, the back half of this year, to absorb offensive pressure and then to slingshot that ball so fast back down the other end of the ground and to get to the likes of pick any Hawthorn forward, Ginneran, whoever's down there, has been exceptional. And they don't miss much. I think their conversion is actually pretty good from the last 8 games of the round.
Their accuracy this year has been 49%, which is
not bad.
It is immense. When you and it's funny, you have a look at the both teams; they're so evenly matched on both sides. And when I say, so as an example, clearances is only like 2 clearances difference, but they're both in the positive from that as well too. Doggies do get a lot more marks, and I think that comes down to the big boys down forward. But has been sensational this year.
It's the Bontempelli effect for me. McRae, Libba, Bont, that midfield, and especially Bontempelli, the ability for him to roll forward on a half forward line or to roll back into a half back position to clog up or to attack. I think he's worth 2 players, Bont.
Will Day is a massive loss for them. I don't think people realize how much.
For the Hawks?
Yeah, he's a big loss for them. Like he's their this season has been their fifth best rated player. Like you can't just turn that on and off when you want. That's consistency across the board. And so, but the classic is if you look at their like top 5 predicted players, Bont, Libba, Treloar, Richards, English, at the ages of 28, 32, 31, 25, and 27. You go over to the Hawks, Newcomb, Moore, Warple. I'll take out Day. Lloyd Meek and Sicily, 23, 25, 25, 26, 29. So they've got age on their side. How bad is James Sicily's shoulder is another story. Like, there's so many ways that we could look at this. My heart says the Doggies. My gut says Hawthorn.
Who do you? So you want the Doggies to win?
Yeah, I would like the Doggies to win. And here's the reason why. And it's nothing against Hawthorn, but it's going to get to a point. And I saw it with my mob in 2018. They won the first final, second final, went over and played a prelim in Perth and didn't even kick a goal in the first half. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's going to be that bad. But
that was a great game, by the way.
There, Ratchet. It'll take it out. I think it'll just take it out of them. And I just think from the Dogs' perspective, I reckon this is their last real shot. I think it's their last real shot. Yeah.
This is window 3/4 open, but he's closing.
I reckon it is. Yeah, I really do. I do because they're going to have to change coach eventually. Regardless of what they say, Beveridge will eventually roll off. The Bont's not getting any younger. He'll be 29 by the time next door. And you have a look at their midfield. Libba's 32. Treloar's 31. English is okay. Bailey Dale's 28. McRae's 30. So I just think that those Rolls Royces are getting a few Ks on the clock. And Hawthorn have got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Yeah.
I think it's the Dogs. For me, it's the Dogs. I think they're just...
I'm just excited.
Peps, I don't know what the right word is. That sounding like I'm 107 years old, but the Dogs seem to have a bit more of like, we've been here before. There's a bit more air of confidence in what they're doing. The Hawks are very exciting. They're very, very cracking to watch, but I think the Dogs are a little bit more like it's business time now, and I feel like they're going to win.
And I think teams have to have a loss in finals. I know they say they don't, but I think teams have to experience that loss early in finals to appreciate the extra that you need to do to take it to that next step. My team's done it. Geelong have done it. Collingwood have done it. Like all the good teams over the last 25 years who have won grand finals. If you went back and looked at history, they've had finals where they've got beaten in there, especially because they're young teams. They probably don't appreciate it as much. I think the doggies really appreciate, hey, this could be the last time that this group, as it is together, will be able to take this one out. But I could be completely wrong on the Hawks win by 40 plus, and our mate Heath Buxton will be doing nude cartwheels because he's got a big punt on them. So it's going to be a cracker. I can't wait for it. All righty. So I'm going with the Dogs. You're going with
the Dogs as well
too. But like I said, heart says one, gut says the other. Sydney versus GWS, mate. I love this. This is going to be like I said, every game this week is one that I'm really looking forward to watch. I don't think I'm going to be doing too much housework this weekend, Dale, so I'm sorry. It is being played 3:20. It's going to be played at the SCG. Interestingly enough, GWS have beaten Sydney in the last 3 finals that they've played, even though that the Sydney team finished higher on the ladder. Even though Sydney have been the best team all season, they haven't been the best team with form over the last 5 weeks. And GWS have been really good over the last 5 weeks.
Yep. I agree.
I just think that they've got more X factor. You've got, who do you trust more as a forward line? Do you trust Hogan, Daniels, Bedford if he's rolling around down there, Riccardi, the little fella with the helmet?
Green.
Yep.
Toby Green.
Toby Green as well too. Or do you trust Amadi,
Parker, Papley?
No, Papley hasn't played for goodness knows how many weeks, so he's going to be coming back a little bit stiff. Haywood, do you know what I mean? I think I trust GWS's forward line more than I trust Sydney's, and I also trust the back line of GWS. You've got Taylor down there.
Okay,
he's just immense. And I love they've got a hard, tough, seasoned midfield as well too. And I reckon that GWS can take this one out. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the biggest margin game of the weekend.
Ooh, okay, all right. I do agree. I could see where you're coming from with the forward line that they've got, and then the midfield that they've developed, and a bit of resilience in these high pressure games over the last 6 weeks. I see where you're coming from, but for me, I just have the Sydney of around round 8 and onwards.
Yep.
And just seeing Peps and Heaney and Amadi and all these guys get hot and just streak into that forward 50, breaking the forward 45 meter from the goals and just kicking them through.
Yep.
Like that still lives in my brain.
Yep. But
so I have a really hard time saying no to that.
And they're midfielders. And here's the thing. GWS's midfielders can lock down on Heaney, Goulden, Warner. And if they do that, I don't think the forward line will have the luxury of playing against an easy back line that GWS provide. And they've got the run coming off halfback, which is, when you got Callahan, Whitfield, Tom Green, like I said, Canelio, they're just so much more even across the ground. I think this is going to be maybe GWS's time. I just rate what they've done over the last 5 to 6 weeks more than what Sydney have done.
This is the great thing about this week, about this final series so far in these first 4 rounds, is every game feels like it is literally a 50. I mean, statistically, yes, I get it. But it feels like you've got strong arguments for either side of who could win. You go into other seasons and you go, oh, they're so much better. They're going to beat that team. Where this one feels like, geez. It feels like every game is a real upset opportunity.
Yep. Well, if it comes down to team ratings, points for team ratings, so the higher your team rating is, the better performance you've been. GWS over the last 5 weeks have gone at 214.9. Sydney have gone at 192.
Yeah, but in the last 5 weeks, also included a 100-point loss to Port Adelaide. I'm not counting that as a huge
No,
thing.
but you have to take that, Jamie, because that's been in the last 5 games. Are you going to say that when you dominated Sydney by that much, you're going to go, oh, that's just one of those things no, you dominated them. You've got to take it for what it is. And I just think that there's some that awe of they've got this in the bag that we spoke about at the start of the season, halfway through the season. I don't have that confidence now. Looking at some of the other teams rolling around.
Can I be honest?
Yep.
The only thing for me splitting this game is just who is the home team, and that's Sydney, and that's where I'm going with. That's the only thing I've got,
the SCG. That's it.
pretty much.
So you've stuffed the statistical analysis. I'm just going with who's the home team, and that's it.
It's because they are both so close, where I think Sydney is either regressing, the giant that has regressed, or they are the world champion getting off the canvas and starting to kickstart their season again. I don't know where Sydney are at.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting when you have a look at just like even the inside 50 side of things. Like even though Sydney, GWS being the 4th best rated team, they've only been averaging 48 inside 50s. And Sydney, who are all the way down to the bottom, have been averaging 45. So they don't get it in that much, but the efficiency of what GWS do. And I think big forwards need to stand out, and they've got the best forward in the league at the moment, which is Jesse Hogan. He's not just a guy that sits in your 50 and says, kick it to me. He will run the legs off whoever's playing on him, whether it's McInerney, whether it's going to be Rampy. I don't know, but he will run them into the ground.
Did he play for Melbourne at one stage?
Yeah, he wanted to go back. But we got Stephen May for him and another premiership player.
Right. Anyway, so who wins? Peps, to you.
I'm going GWS, mate. I'm really excited by what they can deliver, and just their form over the last 5 weeks is far superior to what they've been rolling out at Sydney. So that's not to say that they can't win it, but I think that they're going to find it hard this week. Very difficult.
And good luck to either team who loses or wins one of the other finals, because you've got to go through either a GWS up there or a Sydney up there.
Yep, exactly. So, yep. And that means that the last game, which I think is going to be one game, I'm fascinated by that way this one's going to go. This one won't be. I don't think this one will be close. I think it's going to be big either way.
Oh, the biggest of the whole round, or
I just think that normally when you come down to finals, if you have a look at it, normally there's a big blowout final. You're going to have your close ones, and you have a bit of a middle one. It's always like the prelims. You ever look at the prelims? There's always a blowout prelim, and there's always a close prelim.
It's true.
I think this game will be a blowout either way. And I want to, even though I said I think that it could be the biggest margin the other week, I think this is just going to be a blowout, full stop. I don't think that anyone's going to get. They're going to get in front, and that's it. Because I don't know how Carlton are going to be able to bring in. If they bring in more than 5 players, they're in trouble.
Their injury list is just brutal.
It is brutal. But what have they got to lose, Jdog? Brisbane fell into the bottom 4. Carlton fell into it. So who do you trust more?
I probably trust Brisbane, because I am so unsure of Carlton's ability to handle pressure. We've seen them fold, and we saw them fold with 12 seconds to go against St Kilda.
Yep.
And fall, and they've continued to fold. But once again, it's that whole 11 players injured, including probably, it is literally half of their starting 22 are out.
If you have a look at their Rolls Royces, yeah, Tom DeCone. So if you go through like their top 10 players predicted ratings, right? Cripps has been in, all right. Walsh has been rumours, but all right. DeConing hasn't been there. Pitnet been there. George Hewitt, Chera, no. Sard, no. Wiedering, okay. Kennedy, Curnow, injured. So you know what I mean? Like they're going to be coming back, which looks great on paper, but they're playing a final. So they're already worried about what's going to happen during the game. And then in the back of their mind, they've got is my body going to be able to hold up? The coaches are thinking my body's going to be holding up. Can I bring in Mackay? Can I bring in Curnow? Can I bring in Martin? Can I bring in Chera? Can I bring in Sard? Can I bring in Doherty? There's 7 that I've just mentioned. Can you bring them all in an elimination final? Are they ready? Are they match ready? Do you roll the dice? Do you hit on 17? Or do you go, no, I'm going to stand. I'm going to play it safe. Hopefully that the dealer busts.
All right, do you want to role play? You want to have role play?
Go for it.
All right. You're the coach of Carlton right now. You're sitting down with your 107 other coaches in the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
This has a bit of paper then pushed across to you saying, of the 11, 7 are available, and they are all 7 guns.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do with your list? What are you doing?
Okay. Are they available?
They are available.
Healthy.
They have passed their tests.
So that's basically Petrarca saying that I'm playing in Melbourne at 2025. Okay. You go with. All right, I'll go.
Remember, half of them missed more than 5 games now.
So you need to look at what type of role are we going to play. So I think.
Hang on, are you talking to me? Am I a coach?
Well, am I talking to you, or are you telling me to pick who?
You're the coach, and I'm just here to listen to you explain to me.
We can't play them all. We cannot play them all. We can't.
But they're our best players.
I know, but there's a difference between being best players and being match fit. And we've had a lot of players that have stepped up in the last couple of weeks. So how do we get the best players in without ruining, first of all, the vibe that the teams had over the last couple of weeks against Fremantle and against St Kilda, even though they did lose, and not ruin that, but also getting a little bit better in. So you're going to have to look at who are the ones that can make a difference. Now, even though Charlie Curnow is a match, if his ankle goes in the first quarter and a half, Harris Andrews will take him to the cleaners. If that's the matchup, I'd be concerned about that. You can jab it, but ankles are a completely different beast. Mackay, I'd play.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Mackay at the moment more than I trust Curnow, and I never thought I'd say that. I just think I think Mackay's got something about him this year that I haven't seen in Charlie. And I mentioned it quite a number of weeks ago that Charlie doesn't smash packs. I think Mackay does.
Are you playing? Are you playing Williams? Playing Zach Williams?
No.
Are you playing Adam Chera?
No. Well, Chera's not that great anyway, in my humble opinion. I don't think he's that good. I'd play Sard. Definitely play Sard.
Is TDK?
Yes.
Tom DeConing available this week?
I think he is, and I play him.
Yeah, you need him.
One I would play and have him as the sub.
Did you say no Charlie Curnow?
Yeah, I said no Charlie Curnow.
I've got the CEO out here. I've got the CEO of Carlton outside the door, and you said no Charlie Curnow.
No Charlie Curnow because I do not trust that his ankle is right.
So you're willing to, and what? We've got one shot at this. We've got one shot at this, Coach Pepper. We've got one shot at this.
Yeah,
we lose, we're out.
Yep. Jdog, we play him and his ankle goes. He can't even walk on it, big dog. We're going to jab him up. He's not going to be right. He's not going to be able to jump. He won't be able to push off at full speed. No. I think that there's too much of a risk. What we need to do is have fleet-footed people around Mackay's feet. We have to.
I think for your prime mover like him, you just jab the shit out of him and you put him on and you roll the dice.
Yeah, fair enough.
You don't have a week off. If you lose, you're out.
I know, but you're out. So you'd rather go with him in and lose by 50 goals or 10 goals than not play him and go down by 2.
I would rather lose by 50. I would rather lose by 50 than not, and then not have a crack at it. I'd rather just do that.
Fair enough. All right. The other one that I would bring in, I
Yeah.
never thought I'd say this, is Doherty
What?
as the sub.
What?
As-
Why? Okay.
I think he would bring in that.
What experience?
Oh,
Doesn't
no,
have it.
got nothing to do with that. I think sometimes you need to have an old head, but I'm just factoring in. It's 4 goals down in the last quarter, start of the last quarter, and you sub him in. Like the emotional lift that would get out of the crowd, get out of the players, might just be enough to spark them into that next echelon. Is he better than a Noes? Yes. Is he better than a I don't know, Cooper Lord? Yes. Is he better than a Sam Durden or obviously Owies isn't playing? I think yes. I think that he adds something at an emotional level that might be just what they need to get him over. I would trust a guy who's had a bad knee and is fully fit than a guy who's got a bung ankle.
Okay.
And Craig Jones has said it. He gets what I'm saying. We stuffed up playing Dixon on one leg in the finals last year. Did that happen?
Yeah, it did.
Did Sydney go into the grand final with Sam Reid on one leg and that backfired? Yes. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. You can't take too many injured players into a final because you will get caught out. And I think if you have even 2 weeks, he wasn't able to walk 2 weeks ago, Jdog. You cannot tell me he's recovered from that. I'm sorry. And you can shoot me down for it.
No, I'm not.
I'll wear it if he doesn't play. But oh God, you'll be slapping me on the back if we win.
Yeah, I don't know.
After all of that, Brisbane will win. After all of that, Brisbane will win.
Interesting. You said Brisbane will win. Okay.
I think Brisbane will win. I think Brisbane will win, and I reckon they'll do it quite easily, to be honest.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Is it the Gabba factor?
It's just everything. I don't think they'll do much this final series because I think they're going to have some issues in front of goals. But I think that a Brisbane team, you got to understand, if a third of the team hasn't played with each other for goodness knows how many weeks, they are going to find that hard to try and get that click back together. And Brisbane have been pretty good over the last month. That's what I'm looking at the last month, and they've impressed me. Yes, their goal kicking has probably let them down, but outside of the accuracy in front, and Joe Danaher needs to have his head screwed on correctly because he could rip this final series apart if the real Joe Danaher could please stand up.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I am with you. I'm with you. Given their strong record at home, consistent form over the last probably back half of the year, all the injuries that Carlton have got, they have got the ability to perform under pressure. Brisbane, combining that home ground, and yeah, for me, it's down to the fact that Carlton have got too many injuries, and have just folded like a deck of cards. House of cards? What's the saying? House of cards?
They fell over like a house of cards. Yes.
Yeah, they've been like that in the last sort of 8 weeks.
I'd even go as far as saying, well, they were sitting at a stupid number, weren't they? They were like 8-2 or something along those lines, and just fell over completely.
Yeah.
They haven't had the best form, and that's what you got to look at as well too. Yep. Buzzers here. St Kilda, did they win on the weekend? No,
I'm always happy to see Buzz's name there.
A lot of these things. So, Davey Salt, no excuses once you take the field. Yep, I do agree, but you've got to get a game first. So I do agree with what you're saying. Danaher is a flog. That's coming from Craig Jones, the real Joe Danaher. What you see is what you get from Buzz. I agree. And I think that's what everybody loves about Joe, because when Joe's on, it's very hard to stop. But when Joe's off, I don't think you'd even get anything from a cash converters.
How many points you reckon? How many behinds will Brisbane kick this week, you reckon?
Under 10.
Oh, you're going an accurate Brisbane, or are you going a low score game?
No, I reckon they'll just be accurate. It has to turn. It has to turn. I've just got this feeling that it'll just turn.
What, 30 goals, 10?
Yep. 30 goals, 10 they'll kick. 18 behind, Craigie Jones. Yep. No, I just love Neil loves this time of year. Zorko loves this time of year. Dunkley's made for finals. McCluggage loves this time of year. Rain has been an exceptional form so far. Bailey's been a bit, they've got Will Ashcroft back now. Like, that's just, do you know what I mean? That just adds another level to what they've got. Like, that's a brand new player. I think they just got, I don't think they're in as good as form as they were at the end of last year, but they're in okay form. And if all they've got to do is get their goal kicking a little bit more accurate, watch out. I think a lot of things have to go right for Carlton to win. A lot. Yep. Could even be like last year where they came out to a flying start and then fell over in a heap. Could be like that again.
I'm excited seeing what Ashcroft will do in his first final. First final? Yeah, first final.
Yeah, because he did his knee as well too. But yeah, there's just I just look at them and I think they've got lots to offer. And I really hope Charlie Cameron has an absolute blinding final series as well too, because like he was stiff last year in that grand final. He was sensational, almost won the game off his own boot. Same with Berry and also with Zach Bailey. I think they just got some more options around.
You want motorbikes?
Yeah, I love motor. I've had enough of Take Me Home, but I love a bit of the. Love a bit of that. Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Regardless of the way we look, shape, cut this one up. It is going to be a cracker of a weekend of football, and it's all starting Thursday, mate, with your mob.
Don't text me. No one text me. No one talk to me. Don't text me.
Yep.
Don't come through the official Facebook communication channels. I'll turn them off.
Honestly, whichever team wins won't next week. It's an interesting way of putting things, Craig Jones. So he's basically saying whoever wins out of the Doggies and Hawks won't win next week. Whoever wins out of the Brisbane and Carlton won't win.
He sent me this game here. Particularly this game here, I think Craig's saying.
Oh, well, yeah, because it crosses over the week after. Good point. Love it. That's why we love football. Hey, big show, mate. That was a cracker of a show.
We actually got talking about the games.
Put a lot of analysis into this episode before we started. Of about 3 minutes.
That much.
It was awesome. So, that's it. We're done.
We're done. All right.
Yep.
We have actually gone over the hour. We try and stay under the hour, Peps. We actually have gone over the hour today.
I think you stayed under the hour, and I went over the hour.
Standard. You just talk way too much. Always.
You just don't bring anything.
Don't bring anything to the table.
You bring the maturity. That's what my daughter says. She goes, Jamie's the mature one out of you two. Thanks very much, Dale. But hey, listen, I'll be back. I'll be here with my tips this week. Tipped out will be with their tips for the final. Cannot wait for it. Hey, let's just enjoy the great game that it's better than that throw it forwards, run backwards crap that they have upstairs called NRL. It's the best sport in the world. It's AFL football. And that was your round one of the 2024 final series preview. I'm Peps. That's Jdog. Thank you for joining. Subscribe, like, ring the bell. Tell all your cousins, aunties, mothers how good Jdog is and how sexy he is. Look at him. Ever since you turned 40, hot.
Fresh shave today.
You look, oh, geez, that's one sexy toe ball. But more importantly, big dog, how do you like your footy?
I like it lace out.
I love it lace out too. Have a great week. Hopefully your team wins. And if they don't, trade week will be in just a few weeks as well.
See you, listeners. Love you.
You know how many people have asked you if you're single?